as race fans see cause for celebration one more time. Hello, race fans. This is Trace Ali, along with Ozzie Altman, the voice of the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series. And here we are, midway past the season, and in the heat of competition and the heat of summer, race fans are absolutely breathless at this moment.
Tremendous action last night. Fireworks, there were sparks everywhere here at West Plains, the first night of a two-day stop during the Hav-A-Tampa Super Nationals during the summertime 4th of July visit. Don and Billy Gibson at West Plains Motor Speedway providing a great racing surface for the racers. They do a wonderful job for the race fans here. It's such a special weekend and a lot of excitement on tap here tonight.
And proof of that came last night with the first of two features held this weekend with 50 laps of some of the most intense competition we've ever witnessed. Billy Moyer right off the start took the lead as he coasted to the inside, but it was Wendell Wallace coming with plenty of throttle down the back straightaway that suddenly shot out in front and took that lead away from Moyer. Moyer has been devastatingly strong at West Plains Motor Speedway, winning 3 of 4 Show Me 100s, and again being very strong every time the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series has shown up. Right now, the 5-car Ronnie Johnson from Chattanooga challenges inside Billy Moyer, but Moyer has begun to work the high side of the racetrack at West Plains Motor Speedway. It's $5,000 to win on the table, with Skip Harp in the 31 car now moving inside the 5 of Ronnie Johnson. Later in the race, it's the 17M car of Dale McDowell who will stay on the high side of a two-groove racetrack, with Wendell Wallace running in third, backing up just a little as they go into turn 3, beginning his approach and picking up the speed, going deeper in the throttle, staying almost dead even with Moyer through that turn, but Moyer again quicker in the straightaway, now diving inside the 17M car of course, Dale McDowell. The two blue Monday Motorsports team cars move like the Raptors from Jurassic Park, diving and twisting, attacking together. But Billy Moyer knows the way around the racetrack is going to be better on the high side, as he demonstrates here. Again, slightly to the outside, the right rear of the car moves as he goes through turns 1 and 2, and again here in 3 and 4. But Moyer has found a bite that's beginning to work on his race car. He's got a strong feeling in that car, and you can watch and tell it's nearly perfect. The two blue cars, 17M to the outside in turn 3, of course, of Dale McDowell. But now Wendell Wallace doing his famous patented low move on the inside of the turn, squeezes again more traction for himself as he now grabs the lead going down the back straightaway. Dale McDowell now challenging him from the outside. Moyer, of course, behind the two of them, and Wendell held up momentarily by lap traffic brings Moyer back into the picture. Now he dives to the low side after attacking from the top for so long, moves back up on the high side out of 2. As he comes back down 2 in the next lap, he shoots down the back straightaway suddenly with plenty of power and puts a little move there past the 17M of Dale McDowell. Wendell Wallace now has the lead for the first time after fighting through lap traffic, and the two top cars battling right behind him. Moyer has a seamless racing effort going, now moves to the high side. His tires have heated up. He's begun to move even faster now on the outside lane. The outside lane being the favored one for Moyer. He dives to the inside, takes it to the middle, goes right between the two Monday Motorsports cars, takes the lead as it comes out of 3 and settles in the groove again on the high side of 4. Both of the Monday Motorsports cars, 17M of Dale McDowell and the 6 of Wendell Wallace, trying to get back into the battle. But Billy Moyer has definitely put a discouraging note on their progress as he's gone down the back straightaway at full flight. Now with plenty of speed coming out of 4, again plenty of acceleration into turn 1. Now the 6M car of Wendell Wallace has moved up to that high groove with Billy Moyer, but Moyer continues his lead with Dale McDowell working the low side. Both he and the Monday Motorsports teammate, Wendell Wallace, have been exchanging places on the racetrack, both of them trying to decide whether it's the high or the low groove that'll work for them. But for Moyer, it's an entire racetrack that works for him, with all the speed through turn 3, and now apparently not even lifting off the throttle as he continues to push forward, pulling himself into the front and keeping it all the way. Suddenly, on the high side, it's Skip Harp from Georgetown, Tennessee, in the 31 car car, who takes over second spot momentarily from the 17M car, having put the 6M of Wendell Wallace behind him, again working the same high groove that Billy Moyer has run so successfully so far in this 50-lap feature. 17M of Dale McDowell still staying to the low side, staying with what has worked for him as he's worked this entire race all the way to the front. Now back to third as Skip Arp has slipped up to the high side. But again, Dale McDowell continues to look for all the moisture he can find on the low side of the racetrack. Even though Skip Arp has the lead on him, McDowell still has something in the car that will bring him back as he slips to the low side of Skip Arp. Dale McDowell, though, slows momentarily, and Skip Arp picks up speed and gets into the left rear quarter panel, putting a crimp into it and shooting to the inside, now making the move back to second place. Wendell Wallace tries to pick up, keeps his momentum through turn 3 and 4. Dale McDowell, though, fights his own teammate off, still holding on to third, now caught up in a battle 3 wide in turn 2. Skip Arp has now slipped ahead of the 2 cars. Momentum exchange, weight in motion plus speed. It's all about racing right here as Skip Arp continues to pour around on the high side that Moyer has blazed the path on, while the 17M of Dale McDowell continues to stay in front, but is now running third as behind him Wendell Wallace takes the attack to the high side. And coming up fast, it's the 5 car of Ronnie Johnson working the inside low groove, another master at making the short part of the racetrack work extremely well as he battles into turn 3 and gets a little piece of the nose from Wendell Wallace right in his rear deck. And down they come the front straightaway. This is second, third, fourth, and fifth. It's Moyer all the way ahead by a straightaway length, leading the entire field. With the eyes of the entire audience at West Plains Motor Speed watching, he takes the white flag running down the back straightaway out of turn 2 the final time. Behind him, Dale McDowell has moved into second ahead of Skip Arp one more time. But it's Bill Moyer out of Batesville, Arkansas, that takes the checkered flag and makes it 2 Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series wins in a row, as a legendary performance on this racetrack continues to keep Billy Moyer atop the National Points Championship standings. And, of course, wins this race tonight with Dale McDowell after a magnificent effort finishing second. Skip Arp, of course, had traded places with McDowell but ends up third. Second Monday Motorsports team car driven by Wendell Wallace comes in fourth, and Ronnie Johnson works up from the rear to finish in fifth.
Billy Moyer rings up his second win in a row in the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series, the first of 2 big nights here at West Plains Motor Speedway. Phenomenal race. The fans are still talking about it today. They were 3 wide down to the checkered flag. Dale McDowell, Skip Arp, Wendell Wallace, Ronnie Johnson all in the mix. Those guys and a host of others ready to go here at West Plains Motor Speedway in the big 100-lapper.
But, of course, the big action is going to be whether anybody can catch Billy Moyer again at a track he absolutely dominates here in the Midwest. When we come back, though, we take a look at the heat races and see how it all will stack up for tonight's big 100-lap feature.
Yeah, but you hope it don't last as long as it does. But, you know, we just hope the good Lord, you know, let us go and do good.
Freddie Smith, of course, defending that 1996 Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series title with new vigor and new excitement with that big win behind him now. But here we go again. It's another new night.
Brand new game. Heat race is a major factor in where you're going to start in that feature. Freddie Smith, by the way, the event champion here in the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Firecracker 100 at West Plains. The finale night. Here's how it happened in the heat races.
West Plains Motor Speedway is ready for a second night of the fantastic Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series with Wendell Wallace in the 6M car, working on the low side, battling hard with Dresden, Ohio's Donnie Moran, the Midwest giant that's come to play with the big boys from the Southeast. Again, this time the 17M fills in the spot next to Moran after Wendell Wallace pulls slightly ahead and maintains the charge down the front straightaway into turn 1. Plenty of momentum, and Wallace has that race car set up again for a second night with plenty of power, and it's throttled down all the way, coming out to take the checkered flag from turn 4 and grabbing heat race number 1, winning the pole position for tonight's O'Reilly Auto Parts 100. Race number 2, Billy Moyer on the high side, a place he found great success the night before, but finding plenty of challenge from the 7 car of Mark Miner as they go tight in the turns, slicing through 4, but holding so steady, so professionally through those turns. But this time, Mark Miner has bobbled, and it's apparent as Moyer slides away with plenty of speed down the back straightaway. Back behind him, the 00 of defending series champion Freddie Smith fights with co-sponsored teammate, the 31 car of Skip Hart, both out of Knoxville, Tennessee, both working hard to pick up that 3rd spot to get into the big race tonight. Freddie Smith in the 00 has finally picked up a win in a non-sanctioned race, but now he's looking hungrily for a win in the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series to pick up his challenge and defense of his title. But Skip Hart, also equally hungry, fights on the low side of the racetrack. He's ready for the first win of the season. But ahead of them, it's Billy Moyer. He's held the lead and won heat race number 2, followed by Mark Miner battling hard in 2nd. With the speed of the Hav-A-Tampa Series going by in turn 1, it's now Terry Phillips from up the road in Springfield, Missouri, running very quickly and smoothly around a racetrack that some call his home track, as he's won championships in many races here. But it's the 32 car of Bob Pearson, 2nd, battling with Randall Chupp out of Kentucky, fighting hard on the low side of the racetrack. But it's been Phillips all the way in this heat race. He'll take heat race number 3 and go to the big show on the inside of road number 2. Heat race number 4. It's Bill Fry coming on stronger and stronger with every single appearance after having some major races snatched away by misfortune the previous weeks. Moyer in the house car for GRT, battling with the 83 of Terry Muskrat. Suddenly the house car for the Larry Shaw team comes flying up as the 87 with Rex Ritchie works that high side, finding the bite and coming down out of the groove down the back straightaway with plenty of speed. But it's Fry who suddenly concentrates, turns his focus on, and stays on the line that he knows is the quickest way for this 66 GRT race machine. He comes around turn 4, takes a checkered flag, and wins heat race number 4. Bill Fry has gained momentum and looks for a shot at a win, but on the pole it'll be Wendell Wallace with Billy Moyer, both drivers from Batesville, Arkansas, followed by Terry Phillips on the inside of road 2 and Bill Fry on the outside.
Nearly 50 cars trying to get a starting spot through those heat races in tonight's big event, the finale for the Hav-A-Tampa Super Nationals here at West Plains Motor Speedway.
And if you like that action, we've got a lot more still coming up for you. When we come back, we look at tonight's starting lineup here at West Plains Motor Speedway as the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series has come to town. The Auto Parts Firecracker 100 is about to get going. Let's take a look at tonight's starting grid, brought to you by Iski Racing Cabs. Race with the legend. Wendell Wallace on the pole tonight. It's the Batesville gang, of course, from Batesville, Arkansas, with Billy Moyer on the outside of row number 1. In row number 2, it's Terry Phillips from Springfield, Missouri in the 75 car. And next to him, the 66 of Bill Fry will start 4th from Greenbrier, Arkansas.
Starting 5th tonight, back on the inside of row 3 in the blue 17M, Rossville, Georgia's Dale McDowell. He'll roll off the starting grid alongside the white number 7 of Mark Miner out of Stockbridge, Georgia. Bob Pierce, the tall, cool one out of Danville, Illinois, in the white and red trim 32 machine, starting on side row number 4 alongside of Rex Ritchie, a 5-time career Hav-A-Tampa winner, the yellow 87 car, Rex out of Ringgold, Georgia.
As the smoke continues to clear, in row number 5, it's Donnie Moran from Dresden, Ohio, starting 9th in the 99 car. And Skip Arp outside row number 5, starting 10th from Georgetown, Tennessee in 31. Ronnie Johnson from Chattanooga, Tennessee will start 11th inside row 6. Outside, it's Donnie Barnhart from North Little Rock, Arkansas in the 11 car.
Back on the inside of row 7, the 1993 Hav-A-Tampa champion, the Dunbenson Ford white number 1 of Griffin, Georgia's Clint Smith. He'll roll off alongside the defending national champion, the famed 00 of the Southern Gentleman, Freddie Smith, outside of row 7. Back on the inside of row 8 out of Knoxville, Tennessee, the 114 machine, another Ford Mustang for Randall Chupp. And alongside of him in the 83 car, the orange 83 driven by Stillwell, Oklahoma's Terry Muskrat.
Row number 9, it's David Gibson from Ash Flat, Arkansas, starting 17th tonight, the familiar G2 car. 18th starting position belongs to Johnny Burden from Russellville, Arkansas, in the 1B car. Row number 10 inside, it's Les Essery driving the 5 car from Crane, Missouri. And outside that, from Murphy, North Carolina, it's Ray Cook starting 20th tonight in the 53 car.
Dalton, Georgia's Marshall Green has the Warrior House car on the inside of row 11, that yellow number 89. He'll line up alongside of Galena, Missouri's Ken Essery in the number 55 machine. And taking provisionals this evening on that last row, starting at 23rd, Houston, Texas driver Robbie Starnes. Now he'll be in the 83 S car, lining up alongside the Indiana Cowboy, the black 75 of Mitchell, Indiana's John Gill.
John Gill put on an interesting display earlier this evening as he worked the outside, but we're ready for a rolling start right now here as West Plains Motor Speedway welcomes the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series. As the force of American dirt track late model racing descends on turn 1, Wendell Wallace is being outstripped by Billy Moyer, who heads to the high side, going down the back straightaway, trying to take away the lead right away here on lap number 1.
Look at these cars begin to scatter as we watch the leaders, Wallace and Moyer, both from Batesville, Arkansas. 1 and 2 in the points. They'll get a challenge from Terry Phillips, but it's Moyer powering down the back chute.
Billy Moyer, of course, won the race that was held here last night, the 50-lap feature. That was a tremendous race. Wendell Wallace, a huge factor in determining whether he was going to win that, actually almost taking the lead from him at several points in the race.
There you see Clint Smith working down low behind Donnie Barnhart. Freddie Smith sails to the outside. Randall Chupp in the 114 machine. They're all racing for position early in this event here. Randall Chupp took the 114 car back up for this particular race. He switched places with Terry Muskrat on the start and is in another 114 car as we see Bill Fry in the 66 car leading Mark Miner going into turn 3. Mark Miner's been running good. There's Terry Phillips, a quite capable driver from the Midwest. He's a former Hav-A-Tampa winner. He races with Bill Fry as they exit turn 2 and head down the back chute.
Bill Fry shot low side and right beside the 75 car, outdistancing him as they went into the turn, but now back in turn 3 and 4, where it always seems like Terry seems to be strong in that 75 car. He comes back in turn 3 and 4 and then begins to drift a little in 1 and 2 as Fry continues to stay ahead.
Trace, that's the battle for third now. Again, Phillips stepping up to the high side. Fry will try to bend it down low. There's Mark Miner, who's running back in the 5th place.
There's Billy Moyer, of course, in the lead, a familiar position for that Batesville, Arkansas native, and he runs very fast on this particular racetrack. Absolutely one of the most dominant racers in its history, the 21 car, that of Billy Moyer.
You know, this track will begin to slick over from top to bottom here in, I would say, 20-25 laps is about the general consensus of most of the drivers out there. Moyer has a healthy advantage as we look back at that battle for third, but who knows what's going to happen once we get to about lap 30.
And we've already just about covered 8 laps as Billy Moyer crosses the start-finish line in front of flagman Dwayne Johnson, and 8 laps will continue to see the race spread out as all the cars seek new positions for themselves on the racetrack as the speed picks up and the racetrack smooths out.
There you see Freddie Smith and Johnny Verdon, last year's champion and last year's Rookie of the Year, side by side. Freddie Smith beginning to move up through the pack a little bit, try to inch his way to the front after starting in 14th here tonight in this feature.
There's, of course, defending champion Freddie Smith on the move out there in the back straightaway into 3 and 4. Heading down, into turn 3 right now, down the back straightaway. Freddie staying on the high groove, which seems to be the favorite of about half the field so far. Johnny Verdon, though, flies to the inside of him and gets ahead.
Verdon has worked that car on the low groove throughout the weekend. Talked to him just before the green flag dropped a few minutes ago, and I asked Johnny, is that bottom going to work? He said, maybe for the first quarter of the race, but then you're going to have to get up top if you want to get around this place.
Freddie Smith continues to work very hard on the high side, of course, keeping his car steady and smooth, trying to keep that front end pointed directly down the racetrack and through the turns as he goes by right now with Johnny Verdon on the low inside.
That's a good battle, but you see the nose of the white Ford Mustang of Clint Smith right behind those cars we watch on the screen. Ray Cook now dives to the inside of him as they follow Freddie Smith and Johnny Verdon through turns 1 and 2.
So far, Johnny Verdon and the 00 of Freddie Smith are the big battle that seems to be the most contested so far here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Firecracker 100.
Change for position now as Mark Miner is worked up underneath Terry Phillips. Miner being posted back there in the 4th position. Phillips in 5th, and Rex Ritchie on the move as we watch Donnie Barnhart out of North Little Rock, Arkansas, wheel that number 11 out of turn 4.
Billy Moyer, of course, continues to lead tonight's Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series action right here at West Plains Motor Speedway, a familiar sight to all of us here who watched him both in person on the racetrack and on television. Dale McDowell in the 17, though, is now going to the high side and beginning to work pretty hard on Skip Hart.
There we see Skip Harp and McDowell. Both of these drivers have had tremendous runs in each of the last two Hav-A-Tampa events. They are quite capable of running up to the front. Harp now leads the way down the front straightaway. McDowell swings out to the outside. There comes Ronnie Johnson, another guy that's had some good runs in recent weeks. And Johnson in the thick of it as we watch Wendell Wallace, who runs second.
Wendell Wallace out of Batesville, Arkansas, started second. Started on the pole, but now runs second to Billy Moyer. Both of them from Batesville, as we said earlier. The Batesville bunch kind of driving all the other late model drivers crazy these days as these two continue to vie for the championship of the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series in 1997.
Wallace now down the front straightaway. He's running about 7 car lengths behind the leader, Moyer, as you watch Mark Miner now working there as he closes in on Wallace. Miner up to third and having a strong run here tonight.
Most people will remember a few weeks ago when they saw the Rome show, the show where the Hav-A-Tampa Series appeared at Rome Speedway. Mark Miner was absolutely blistering that racetrack and ended up second, almost had a shot at winning it.
Trace, he is closing down on Wendell Wallace. Mark Miner having a good run. Of course, he just moved into the top 20 of the national point standings, and now he's trying to challenge Wendell Wallace for second.
Mark has worked on that car, brought it faster and more forward in the particular races he's faced over the last few weeks than almost any other driver. Again, throughout the season, you see different people improve their car and get better. All of a sudden, that belongs to Mark Miner.
Miner running in a Masters-built chassis, that white number 7 out of the Ronnie Dobbins racing operation out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. And Miner right here in the thick of things tonight. A long way to go with 21 laps complete as we watch Moyer working through lap traffic.
Billy Moyer's in charge. And where do we go from here? Well, we're going to find out when Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series television, brought to you by Ford Heavy Trucks, returns. Down the front straightaway as they head into turn 1 here at West Plains Motor Speedway. Bill Fry still leading the Wendell Wallace car. That's a change for Bill, and he has definitely moved up with John Gill coming up there on his tail.
Gill already being shown a lap down. We watch Freddie Smith and Bob Pierce, a couple of KG veterans battling there with Ray Cook behind them. There comes Clint Smith and the leader beginning to close in. Billy Moyer 36 lap down, working, or 36 laps complete as he continues to work around this track at blistering speeds.
Freddie Smith continues this runaway race as they continue to move. There hasn't been a caution yet. Perhaps we shouldn't bring that up, but they're over a third of the way through the race, and they're still just flying around the racetrack at superhuman speeds as the West Plains Motor Speedway holds a great race in front of you here from the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Race Series as Marshall Green in the 89 goes under Randall Chubb.
That's a battle of cars that are already being shown a lap down. They're battling for position, however, though, and every point valuable. Marshall Green out of Dalton, Georgia, motors to the inside of Randall Chubb. Classic Ford and Chevrolet battle in turn 1.
Marshall Green had quite a return to prominence last night as he battled in heat races and did pretty well in the race itself. But the 21 of Billy Moyer repeats his performance, at least so far tonight, up to what he did last night with a big win here already with 50 laps and $5,000 already in his pocket.
This is an unbelievable performance of strength by Billy Moyer and the GVS racing team. Already less than halfway complete with the event, closing down on Clint Smith, Bob Pierce, and others, threatening to put them a lap down. He continues to remain on the torrid pace that he's been on in the last couple of Hav-A-Tampa events.
And the most amazing part of this is Moyer could make this a 100 lap from start to finish race, leading every single lap, which he's done so far. That is not too far away from the realm of possibility. This car is the dominant car of the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series.
Working lap 42 now, Trace, and Moyer stepped way up the banking there. You can see a lot of rubber is already laid down. This track, the black groove or black streak, beginning to spread from bottom to top, and that could make it a lot more raceable. We could see some action as somebody could have the right setup to maybe reel in that Moyer machine.
Some of that lap traffic is getting the move-over flag from Dwayne Johnson on the start-finish line, but behind everybody and behind the crowd that looks in the back like they don't want to see what's behind them, and the reality of it as the 32 car Bob Pierce watches Billy Moyer continue the attack and roam for more challenge and more victims as he pulls ahead lap after lap, leaving more and more people behind. But still, so far, second place belongs to Mark Miner, who puts on a good run here at West Plains Motor Speedway.
Miner, a talented driver originally from the Midwest, now residing in the Atlanta, Georgia area. A couple of nights ago set the fast time with a qualifying track record at the Tri-City Speedway event. Another record was established here this weekend. Moyer setting the fast time for the late late models here in competition at West Plains Motor Speedway. Meanwhile, Moyer has slipped underneath Bob Pierce to put him a lap down as you watch Marshall Green, who's a lap down just in front of the second place car, Mark Miner.
Billy Moyer leading Bob Pierce now, who is now a lap down behind him, as Moyer now sets his sights on the 1 car of the Dunbenson Ford, driven by Clint Smith, the 1993 Hav-A-Tampa Series champion. Moyer absolutely is almost to the point of being so perfect it's scary. He's won heat races, he's won the fastest lap time, and he's won a race here already, and he's on his way towards another one as we watch.
You see this New York City traffic jam. That's right in front of your leader, Billy Moyer, working out of turn number 2. And Moyer's going to have to do some bobbing and weaving. He puts Ken Essery another lap down as the 55 car slowed down the back straightaway, pulls it out of harm's way as we stay green, nearing up the halfway point with 47 laps now complete.
There's no question that Moyer has the car figured out. He is on any part of the racetrack he needs to be as he moves around, under, through, interweaving his way through all the lap traffic and continuing to pull away. Moyer comes out of turn 4. He, like you said, he fights with a little bit of the traffic backing up there, but he soon will find another way through there as he continues his relentless pursuit right now of the 53 car of Ray Cook, as Ray Cook goes 3 wide with Freddie Smith in the 00 and the 5 car outside of Les Essery. A great looking run right through there. The 55 car pulled off. That's Ken Essery. He left the race apparently with some particular problem.
Halfway now being signaled to the field as they rumble around this 3/8 mile facility. Moyer has now put Clint Smith a lap down. We'll see if he can complete that pass. And now he works on Freddie Smith. So Billy Moyer continuing to walk through this field at West Plains Motor Speedway.
This could be the most astounding thing we've ever seen Billy Moyer do in a Hav-A-Tampa dirt race. He continues to lap the field. Only 1 or 2 cars can stay within distance. One of them, of course, the second place car of Mark Miner, and others behind him, including Bill Fry, still coming, but still a long ways back with the same problems to deal with. They've got to get around those cars too.
Tremendous pace in this race, Trace. They've been running for about 13 minutes already. They're past halfway. 53 laps now complete.
And it looks like the 31 car of Skip Arp just left the turn 3 exit there just a minute ago. I don't see him on the racetrack. Apparently it was him.
So Skip Arp suffering problems here just past the midway point in the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Firecracker 100 and the Hav-A-Tampa Super Nationals at West Plains Motor Speedway. A lot of action still left as you watch the Billy Moyer car now swing out of turn 4 once again.
Billy Moyer followed by packs of 3s. There are incredible battles going on behind him. 3 wide all over the racetrack. Freddie Smith fighting on the inside with Clint Smith on the outside. 3 wide here as we see Bob Pierce being passed on the inside, now being lapped by the 7 car of Mark Miner, which has already been fallen in behind Billy Moyer, who lapped everybody behind Mark earlier in this race.
There you watch Miner, then Clint Smith right there in front of them. Clint Smith and Freddie Smith a lap down. The second place car of Mark Miner, and Miner is not that far behind the leader. All this traffic has allowed Miner to kind of tighten that gap up, and Mark Miner could have something left for Billy Moyer before this one's over.
He keeps the fender off of the 00 car, Freddie Smith, back there in turn 4 as they race now down out of 2 and into the back straightaway. Freddie Smith trying not to go a lap down. His car is definitely coming a little faster, but Mark Miner's is just simply better as he gets inside and goes around him.
The field now working lap 58 as we watch him rumble by on the speed shot. There you see the back straightaway as Moyer works down into turn number 3. He'll close up on Johnny Verdon as he exits turn 4.
Working on perhaps the fastest race of the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series history at West Plains Motor Speedway and perhaps many of its other racetracks. Billy Moyer, the dominating force for 1997 in the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series, continues the quest here as he runs hard and fast and continues to pull up on traffic and pass them as time goes by. No move over flag for him, just the crowd in front of him. Stay with us. We'll be right as West Plains Motor Speedway crosses the finish line for now 74 laps complete. He's only 26 laps away from a total green flag run and one of the most dominating race cars in one of the most dominating fashions we've seen in an entire year's worth of racing.
No question marks for that GVS racing team this weekend. There is Bill Fry in that GRT house car. Fry's still having a good run. He's managed to stay on the lead lap and running up there in the top 5.
How are you going to keep him down there when Billy Moyer's running all around him? I'll tell you what, this is an incredible display of pure horsepower and pure setup. Billy Moyer is the master of making a race car come together and work well on the racetrack, but never have I ever seen it, at least on a television show, where he has been this incredibly complete.
starting to run a little different line now as Moyer sticks it way down at the bottom at the turn 4 exit. Now, meanwhile, that battle for second is starting to shape up. Bill Fry running in third has started to narrow the gap down between he and the second place car of Mark Miner as we look at Ray Cook as he tries to stay on the lead lap with the leader Billy Moyer coming up behind him.
Is this the new era of the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series? The new look of the Billy Moyer car, the 21 GVS race car, telling the story here at West Plains Motor Speedway over and over again as he continues to track down and take over the path in front of him of more and more cars now working on lapping them for the second time.
Ray Cook putting up a valiant effort. Now, Moyer's tried to get around him to put him a lap down for about the last 10 laps, and Cook still managing to stay on that lead lap, which is very important. Should a caution be waived here in the waning stages of this race?
Billy Moyer has nowhere to go but forward, and he continues to eat those laps. 80 of them gone, 20 to go. He could be looking at another $10,000 to add to this weekend. But this man, Mark Miner from Stockbridge, Georgia, in the 7 car, seems to be the only one still possibly capable of chasing him and possibly changing the course of this race.
And Miner has kind of opened that gap back up over the third place car of Bill Fry as Miner now sails. There you see him in turn 1 and 2. Mark Miner having another good run and Hav-A-Tampa action here tonight.
Mark has worked his way through that same lap traffic that Moyer worked with, like a surgeon taking a knife and a scalpel and just absolutely doing death-defying things at the time he did it. But Mark Miner still has to overcome the incredible speed ahead of him of the Moyer car, which is still pulling away as he goes into turn 3.
There you see the difference between second and third as Miner leads Bill Fry. Fry running in that third position. The 66 car now works down the front straightaway as we close in on the finish with about 17 laps to go.
One of the greatest things about any kind of racing, and dirt track late model racing certainly is among them, is you cannot predict what's going to happen in a race. We watched this race earlier. We watched race after race, local classes and everything else, and we wondered how fast could this racetrack be. Right now we're watching these cars average 116 miles an hour.
There you see Donnie Barnhart right there. He's on the lead lap, and he battles with Ray Cook. David Gibson also in that group too. David being shown a lap down. The leader now, Moyer, steps up to the high side. He'll try to make that pass on Ray Cook on the high side of turn 2. He still hasn't had success in getting around Cook, so obviously he's closed up on some faster cars now.
Ray Cook has made it a mission tonight, if nothing else, to hold off Moyer and possibly be the last car on the end of this lap that will not get past. G2's David Gibson, though, he's on the high side there, driving very clean, but Moyer will incisively move inside both of them here if the two of them can't keep him apart.
He won't wait anymore. He'll split the difference. Billy Moyer trying to take it 3 wide, got a little loose here and had to get back out of the gas. He did get around Gibson, and that'll put him 2 laps down, but Ray Cook slips away to stay on the lead lap here with 13 laps to go.
It's been said repeatedly that Billy Moyer likes a flat, slick racetrack. Well, it's not flat, but it's definitely slick enough, and right now he's going to town and showing you what he really enjoys most, and that's cutting them down one by one over and over again. With 88 laps done, only 12 laps to go for him to possibly have another $10,000 in his pocket.
There you see Moyer out of turn number 4. They'll complete 89 laps here of the 100-lap feature event and this big finale to a wonderful racing weekend. We've been blessed with great weather, a lot of competitive action, and Moyer has been blessed with a powerful run here at West Plains Motor Speedway.
Possibly going to set a record here with a complete, as you said, green flag to checkered flag run here at West Plains Motor Speedway. This may be a first. I don't believe it's happened here before, and I certainly don't think it's happened for the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series in a long, long time.
Now, this battle is for position as Donnie Barnhart out of North Little Rock, Arkansas, leads the Ford Mustang of Ray Cook. They continue to run just in front of the leader, staying on the lead lap as Moyer tries to close them down in turn 1.
Some of the cars in the action there. That's the 83 of Terry Muskrat. Behind him, the 11 car of Donnie Barnhart from North Little Rock. Ray Cook in the 53 on the outside, moving fast and furious down through turn 4 as he contends for another position still to go in this race, and still holds off Moyer, who's yet to find a way to pass Ray Cook.
Moyer tried to use a little slide job action there going out of turn number 2. Cook bent it down to the inside. Now Moyer will close back up on him out of turn 4. Just 7 laps remain.
7 laps to go, as you said, Ozzie, and look at Ray Cook still holding off Billy Moyer. This is a little bit of a surprise. Suddenly Ray Cook's car is very strong. Who knows what would have happened if he could have been a little closer to the front at the beginning of the race.
There you go. Ray Cook, Donnie Barnhart, Terry Phillips there just in front of those guys as the leader comes back by. Moyer closing in on another big payday here down in turn number 1.
Nothing seems to be able to stop him. And, of course, the power and the absolute incredible control of Billy Moyer behind the wheel of that 21 car is just absolutely mind-boggling. You can't get over how incredibly perfect he makes a race car and the racetrack look.
Dwayne Johnson just signaled a handful of fingers to Billy Moyer. Less than 5 laps remain as Moyer works midway down the back straightaway, continuing to dominate Hav-A-Tampa action on this weekend.
In some ways, it reminds you almost of Terry Labonte, the way he has just absolutely crawled around this racetrack at super high speeds, just like an absolute perfect person in that race car, almost robotic in the way he's controlled this race.
Caution on the Speedway, the first caution of the evening waves here on lap number 96. One of the Potato Creek cars, it is Terry Muskrat out of Stillwell, Oklahoma, apparently with a left front tire down on the machine as he limps down out of turn 4, and he's got some sheet metal damage up there as well. So caution waving for the first time of the event on lap number 95. Just 5 short laps from the finish, and now we'll see, what does Mark Miner have left in that number 7? Can Bill Fry make a move? Billy Moyer leads the way with 5 to go.
This is going to be an incredible finish, ladies and gentlemen. A drag race to the end. 5 laps with Moyer. Have Moyer's tires been used to the point of where he may now be catchable? We'll find out when we return to West Plains Motor Speedway as Ford Heavy Trucks brings you the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series.
1 to go. What a rapid, torrid pace this has been, Trace. Billy Moyer is 5 laps away from the big money, and who knows what's going to happen when they go green. Mark Miner may have something left for him here, and you can't count out Bill Fry, Wendell Wallace, or Skip Arp.
The great unpredictability of weight in motion at very high speed, and that's Billy Moyer's motto here tonight as he continues to lead and absolutely dazzle us. 95 straight laps as they get ready to go green one more time. Dwayne Johnson says, let's go, boys.
Mark Miner immediately dives to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll try to make it happen in turn number 2. Moyer strong out of the turn 2 exit. He'll lead the way by 2 car lengths as we work through turns 3 and 4.
Mark Miner putting on the dash of his career here right now, trying to reel in one final time the Billy Moyer machine. The 21 looks unstoppable. Mark Miner has everything in his hands as his fate continues to ride in the 7 car.
Mark Miner's got company closing in on his rear deck lid. Moyer comes out of turn number 4 with 3 laps to go. The battle could spring up for second now. Miner holds that spot. Bill Fry and Wendell Wallace want a piece of it.
Bill Fry in the 66 car looking at the best he's looked in a long time right here at West Plains Motor Speedway, just a few miles up the road from Greenbrier, Arkansas. But it's Billy Moyer from Batesville, just 90 miles also south of here, who's absolutely destroying the competition as lap 98 unfolds, and he continues to super speed down the back straightaway here at West Plains Motor Speedway. What a race car.
Moyer will dive out of turn 4. You'll see the white flag with a lap to go, separating he and $10,000 at West Plains Motor Speedway in the Hav-A-Tampa Super Nationals. The GVS Chevrolet Camaro of Billy Moyer thunders down the back chute. He's about to get another one, Trace.
He has come so far, so fast, and as he comes out of turn 4, Ozzie Allman, he will cross the finish line and take the win here tonight. 3 in a row in the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series for Billy Moyer as he concludes 100 laps of fury at West Plains Motor Speedway.
Another remarkable performance of strength from Batesville, Arkansas's Billy Moyer. He should leave here at West Plains Motor Speedway, strengthening his points lead in the national championship chase in Hav-A-Tampa action. Moyer with Hav-A-Tampa win number 7 on the Hav-A-Tampa series. It was Mark Miner with a great run coming home in 2nd. Bill Fry winding up in 3rd. In 4th was Wendell Wallace and Skip Arp out of Georgetown, Tennessee, rounding out the top 5.
Well, it's all over but the shouting, and now Billy Moyer gets to tell his side of the story. We'll visit with him in the winner's circle when we come back to West Plains Motor Speedway for tonight's conclusion. There's Billy Moyer fresh off the tech scale. He is the winner of tonight's Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series official race at West Plains Motor Speedway. Let's join him and talk to him in the winner's circle. Billy, another incredible race, 95 laps. You would have had 100 from start to finish if we hadn't had that flat tire on Muskrat's car. So what does it feel like to have the car that's perfect both nights on 2 entirely different racetracks?
Well, it's, you know, that's what's nice, you know. That's our team's strong. You know, we got the stuff that it takes to try and make the car work right in any situation, and that's what it takes to win races, win championships. You know, that's what we're trying to do.
You keep making the good decision after good decision after good decision. Can this team get any better than this?
Well, if we just, you know, we still, you know, can be better in some spots. So, you know, we learn every day. You know, we never quit learning, try to make the car better and better, and, you know, everything just keeps falling in place there so far. You know, we used a different car tonight than we used last night, you know, and that's makes it hard on us to keep the right setup for all of our cars we have, but, you know, that's why I don't have no hair, I guess.
Mark, we know there were 24 cars that started on that racetrack tonight, but there were only 2 at the end, and that was you and Billy Moyer. Do you feel like you had a shot at pulling up on him and catching him?
Yeah, I really did. I thought the car was real good. I just kind of saved everything for the middle to the end, see how good the car was, and right there towards the end we started catching them, and I think some lap cars may have, you know, it was hard racing the lap cars out there tonight.
Moyer went around him. He had some difficulty. Then I saw you fight with him, and I think they actually fought with you harder about you getting past them on that second car to lap them than I think they did even with Moyer at times.
Well, at times, but, you know, with the track that slick, it's hard not to press the gas pedal, and if you spin the tires the least amount, you know, a guy will gain 2 car lengths on you, and it takes forever to make them 2 car lengths back up.
Well, obviously, there were only like 3 or 4 cars in the whole race that figured out how to run the racetrack, get the setup. Did you do something extraordinary here, or was this just another one of those things where you hit it right, you just guessed it?
Well, we hit it right because we run the Show Me 100. That taught us a lot right there. We come back real confident and strong, and it showed tonight.
So Mark Miner picks up a second-place finish here tonight in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Firecracker 100. A very hard-earned second place, but he finishes behind Billy Moyer, who's made it 3 in a row in this series of races for the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series. And Bill Fry comes in 3rd with one of his best finishes of the year. Great, strong finish by Bill Fry. Wendell Wallace comes in 4th, Skip Arp 5th, and Donnie Moran comes in 6th. In 7th, the other Monday Motorsports team car, Dale McDowell finishing there. Ronnie Johnson out of Chattanooga in 8th. Terry Phillips 9th. Donnie Barnhart 10th. Ray Cook picks up 11th. And Clint Smith, a former defending series champ, finishes 12th. In 13th, it's Johnny Burden, Rex Ritchie, Marshall Green, Freddie Smith finishing 16th. Bob Pierce 17th. And Robbie Starnes at 18th. The remainder of the field includes David Gibson, Terry Muskrat, Les Essery, John Gill, Ken Essery, and Randall Chupp rounds out the field.